We're pulling everybody on. We're just going to give it a couple minutes. I'm so happy that you guys all received the Zoom link. I'll tell you what, nothing pushes me outside of my comfort zone more than having to learn how to do things on the technology side. So I'm just really excited you guys are here. My biggest fear, my heart was kind of racing before this. I was sitting in the Zoom like, I don't know, nobody might come. They might not even have the link. I'm not even sure. All right. Okay. We have a few more people waiting to come in. And so just to let you guys know, I, on the technology side of things, am a bit challenged, although I'm working through it. Now, when I screen share my PowerPoint, my presentation with you, I won't be able to like invite people in. So I just want to take a few minutes, or there probably is a way. I shouldn't say that. I likely don't know how to do it. So we do this every single week. And I think I have a couple of my clients, Melissa's on here and Rebecca, Allie. So I do this every week and I get lots of practice, but I still can't figure out on my Mac how to let people in. So today we are talking about how to get you results, not just results like exercise wise, physically, mentally, emotionally is the capacity that I work. So I teach my clients not only how to train their body, how to eat for energy, but I am so excited to just expand where your brain might take you in how to manage your mind and how to actually create results for yourself, despite anything outside of you, despite the circumstance. And this will probably sound like a lot of hocus pocus or weird, doesn't make sense to you initially, but I promise as you continue to take on this information today, and if you decide down the road you want to join my program, we go in so much depth. What we're going to do today is just scratching the surface, but it's going to equip you with some really awesome tools to take into the weekend, to take into your week, to take into this evening. Food wise, exercise wise, absolutely. But I know I've spoke to a few of you even about just managing your emotions, or if you have children, we can never really control our kids. I have 8 of them. When I try to think I can control them, that creates a lot of like tense feelings and emotions. But when you recognize that you can manage how you feel and how you want to respond to them, when you recognize how powerful your thoughts are in this process, that is what creates results for you. And this is how you get results with your body. And I think most of you are here because you're curious on, maybe you're where you want to be, maybe you're close, maybe you're kind of in the middle, but you want to create more results for yourself. I'm going to walk you through that today. Okay, before we get started, we're about 5 minutes in and I am going to pull up our slide and screen share with you. Does anybody want to come on? You can unmute. Does anybody have any questions? Anything before we get started that comes up? Another thing I'm going to offer, if you don't do Zooms, I feel like we're in this weird, like Zoom is normal now. I had no idea what it was prior to COVID. But if you notice in the bottom, so I'll start it off. Oh, Allie, you're so sweet. This is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so on the bottom, you can chat. So there's a little button that says chat. I'm gonna just throw in a chat in there. Now, if anything that I say resonates with you or you have questions, pop them in the chat as I'm talking. And I can't always see what comes up, or it sometimes throws, when I have the Mac on and I'm screen sharing, I can't see where the little arrow is. So sometimes it's hard for me to get to the chat during our presentation, but I'll circle back at the end so that we can cover all of your questions and that you leave here feeling super equipped and good about spending time with me today, which I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for all of you for being on with us here. Okay, now before we get started, I'm going to open up the screen share app, but everybody smile really big. I'm going to take a picture of you. I always forget to tell my people when I do that. And then you're like, in this weird face. And of course your eyes, even though nobody else can see what your face looks like, somehow you scan for exactly where you're at and think everybody is looking at you. We all do it. I do it too. All right. I'm on a screen share. Oh, this is going to be so good. Okay. You can see, whoops, you don't want the power of habits. We want this one. Okay. Can you guys see this? Awesome. I'm going to try to move you to the bottom. There we go. All right, let's go back to the beginning here. Here we go. I'm already making it bumpy. There we go. Okay. This is good. 5 realistic, sustainable steps to getting fit and ending self-sabotage so you can finally feel confident in your own skin. When I created the title of this, I changed it about a half a dozen times because truly I could talk about a million things in this title. You're going to get so much, but I want you to know that this is possible without spending hours in the gym, without restricting or cutting out the things that you love, or even counting every calorie. This is possible for you. And I'm excited to open up your mind and what is possible. So you're in the right place if you are sick of starting and then stopping the latest program or diet. You're in the right place if you're done with the all or nothing black and white thinking. If you don't want to spend hours a day in the gym, but you still want to see changes, thank you for being with me. You're in the good spot. If you have a busy family and you just need a clear plan from someone who understands. I'd mentioned I have 8 kids, guys. What I do now looks so different than what I did 3, 5, 10 years ago. Every season of life is different. So in the next 45 minutes, I will reveal why step number 1 is the key to changing your shape and maintaining weight loss. I will show you the biggest mistake I see when people start a new program or diet and how to create the ultimate success. Wonder why you're always ending up in the same cycle of self-sabotage? Step number 2 reveals my top strategies to implementing this today in order to make a change tomorrow. Now, while you guys are here, I'm gonna, if you are very skilled on Zoom, let me know. I want to see if there's a way that I can just put my picture up. And so we see just the screen and my picture in the corner would be fine. But, okay, I'm not sure. That's okay. We'll keep on. All right. Step number 3 is going to give you the most impactful mindset model I learned last year that changed everything for me. It actually was in a culmination from 2020, from COVID. I don't know what you experienced, but I know you are not the same person that you were before 2020 and after. We have all evolved. And my story is no different than that. In step number 4, I'm going to give you the framework to create good habits and get rid of the bad habits. And then if that's not enough, I'm going to tell you with these simple tools, if you want to lose 3 to 5 pounds this week, you can. Like most people, if you implement what I show you, that is very possible. Now we are going into a holiday weekend. So you might, take this into the week after, or you can just dial it right in over the holiday. You decide and then you do it. So my promise to you is I'm going to show you a sustainable way, exactly how to train, fuel your body, and manage your mind in order to get lasting results. So this encompasses the 3 pillars of my program, which is training, simplified training, nutrition, and mindset work is essentially what we work through. Here's the deal. You are not a lost cause. I get this a lot when I talk with people. You somehow think you're the exception to losing weight or getting in shape and feeling amazing for good. Like you are not the exception. It is possible and it's within you right now. Important things to remember. Results start with a strong vision and belief in what's possible, followed by serious action. I should have bolded that. I'm all about grace. My business name is Fit with Grace. We actually coached around this last night in my private group, but you have to also follow that up with action. So we have to have a clear, strong vision and belief and then followed up with action. Most people give up in the first week of a new plan, my friends, because the effort just doesn't equal the expectation. It's like we work really hard. We feel like we work so hard and we get on the scale and it says nothing. There's reason behind that, by the way. But then you quit and you just tell yourself, it's not working. I don't know how to do this. And I'll just go back to whatever I was doing, whatever feels easy. This is why having a coach guide you through the plan is so critical in making lasting changes. So I am not here to pitch you guys a sale, but I do want you to pay close attention and just take notes, turn off distractions, give this 100% of your attention. And then I didn't add this on here, but I would love if you followed up with me, whether you're watching the replay or you're part of this live training. I want you to follow up with me and let me know what you took from this training and how you applied it. And then maybe what happened next week, like follow up and let me know, how did this impact you? Because it's going to be good. So does this sound familiar? No matter what you do or how much you exercise, you can't seem to get the weight off. You're done yo-yo dieting and you just want something that works. Are you sick of not having enough energy with your family and friends to live the lifestyle you desire? I hear this a lot with people. It's like, I just want to feel good. I just want to have energy. But when I get home, I'm exhausted. I don't even want to play with my kids. I don't even want to take the dog for a walk. Walking down to the mailbox is exhausting because mentally we are drained. You struggle with staying consistent in your diet or your workout routine because you just don't know what to do. Maybe you're confused and overwhelmed by the constant and contradictory information that keeps coming at you online. There is always something new to learn. I kind of love digging into the science or the new stuff, but I know it's super confusing if you don't have the ability to decipher what is what. Maybe you're ashamed that as soon as you start a new plan, you already don't believe that you will continue it because all past failed attempts and they're sitting in your brain, and our brain looks to our past for evidence of what's going to happen in the future. So I want you to just have grace with yourself and recognize it's completely normal. You want something that helps to rewire your thoughts and create a better mindset long-term for lasting change. And when I say lasting change, this takes much longer than an hour with me, but this is the work we do in the beauty of coaching. You can create that sustainability. So have you ever thought, I am done starting and stopping every other Monday, and I am ready for a plan that actually works? I mean, even I've thought that lots of times. The truth is, no one's showed you just a simple framework. No one showed you these exact steps that I'm going to walk you through today. Once you expertly execute what I'm about to teach you, you will know exactly how to train your body for optimal results in less time. You'll have more peace about the process because it just becomes who you are and not something else you have to do. This is a big deal for me, guys. We get more into this in the training today, but we are going to talk about creating your identity. Like, you get to decide who you are. You are the healthy woman that you desire to be right now. You could just decide that. That creates the identity of who you are versus, oh my gosh, I have to work out. I have to do this because I want to be healthy. No, you are healthy now. How is that true? And then we're going to build from that. So you'll never wonder after this training if a food's good or bad, or if it's going to ruin your results, because we're going to talk about that. You're going to understand why self-sabotage happens. You'll know the exact process of reframing your thoughts to get lasting results. So the thought work that I take my clients through is very simple. I'm going to give you that framework. It is scratching the surface and you can apply it today, and you will start to create greater awareness today. But guys, I don't want you to take this training and feel like, oh my gosh, I mean, that was amazing. And then you try to apply it. And then next week you're like, so nothing changed. This is a forever work. This is a process we have to walk ourselves through, which is why having a coach, why managing your brain is so helpful. So you will finally create the results you desire because you trust yourself. You learn to make choices that honor your best self without a lot of mind chattering indecision. I highlighted trust yourself and indecision because how many of you look outside of yourself to find the answers and find solutions instead of going within yourself? And for me, part of that process for me is connected to my spiritual health and my relationship with Jesus Christ. I don't know what you believe, but I do want you to harness and trust that you have it within you to make decisions that are powerful and to make changes for you today. You have that. So what you need to know is there are 5 steps to creating mind body results that last without cutting out everything you love. It's there and available. But first, if you don't know, let me introduce myself. I am a life and health coach. I'm a degree certified trainer. I've been doing this since I was 18, so for 22 years. I'm a nutrition specialist. I'm a married mom with 8 kiddos. I'm a foster and adoptive parent, a fitness and bodybuilding enthusiast. I am a true lover of pizza, baking, and wine. And I am your biggest cheerleader. I am now, whether you ever work with me or not, you can count on that. But it wasn't always like this. So just to share, I'm going to share a little more of my story later, but I used to chronically jump between restricting and overeating. Both of them left me in shame-filled, self-sabotaging cycles. So for years, I felt like if I ate pizza, remember my love, pizza and baking, or sweets, I ruined the day. And I would just start again later, which is a never-ending cycle. And it always left me with little motivation to exercise. And it also left me with little motivation to connect with those that I love. It was looking back, right? We always can kind of look back to see where we've been. It was a big change for me. I carried a lot of judgment for myself and was quick to feel unworthy in many situations and relationships. All of this left me overanalyzing, second guessing myself, and scrambling to achieve the next great thing to be better. I'm going to get better. It's like, I know I should be doing this. It's still an impossible cycle. That cycle is just never ending and emotionally and mentally exhausting. So today we're going to uncover the 5 steps to sustainably getting fit and ending that sabotage so you can finally feel confident in your skin without the restricting, cutting the things out, or counting every calorie. Step number 1, my friends, I talk about this in my training. This is part of my group Fit with Grace coaching program. Follow a set approach. It's going to feel too easy, but it is the secret sauce to change. Doing too much all at once will cause overwhelm. This shuts the brain down. You might be able to white knuckle your way through a new plan. Hey, I can see somebody else trying to come in. Let me see if I can admit them. Sorry, hold on, guys. Okay. So beginners may only do 10 minutes of exercise a day, and then we add on. This feels like, what's the point? And I know where your brain's going, and I promise there is purpose behind this. I do encourage strength training. I say 3 times a week is key, but 2 to 4 times, and you are in business for success. It just depends on where you're at and what we want to create together. So you need to have an effective training protocol that works to build lean muscle without complicated moves or hours in the gym. Now, there's nothing wrong with complicated moves, and there's nothing wrong with spending hours in the gym. I happen to love both. But as your coach and trainer here today, I know that most people I work with do not love these things, especially when you're starting out. So I simplify it all. If you love exercise or don't, most women I come across lean towards cardio, even just walking. Here's the problem. Doing hours of cardio will give you the same shape, little muscle, and it can cause a lot of burnout. Like you're doing the same thing over and over again. When you're doing too much cardio, you end up with low energy and you get extra hungry. And then you're confused on if what you're doing is actually working, because even if you lose weight, your body looks the same. I don't go into a ton of this on body recomposition, but it is huge. I'm going to show you some really fun pictures of clients, but body recomposition is increasing our lean muscle mass and decreasing our body fat. Women come to me and they say, I want to lose weight, or I just want to get toned. But this is the process you're talking about. Increase the lean mass, decrease the body fat. It is an incredible process. So when prioritizing strength training, you can finally stop scrolling Pinterest for the perfect workout or diet. By the way, you can go to Pinterest and find any workout or diet plan you desire. That's not why people come to me. People come to me for coaching, and I just happen to have a lot of solid experience and expertise in the field of training and nutrition. Not every coach does, but I always say it's inevitable. Like if we work together, it's inevitable that your training and your nutrition plan will be on point to get you the results you want. But you can also go to Pinterest after this call and find whatever you'd like. So you're going to know with strength training, with confidence that what you're doing is actually working, because you're going to begin to see the changes taking place. Now, I want to touch on this. When you first start out strength training, you're going to kind of be right here. If you can get through this lull, sometimes I call it the river of misery. I use that term for anything. If you can get through this beginner point where you're not seeing changes initially, all of a sudden you are going to start every week recognizing your clothes fit better. You have more mental clarity. Maybe the number on the scale changes. For a lot of you, it will. For some of you, it won't, because at the beginning, if you're increasing muscle mass, if you've never strength trained and you're decreasing body fat, the scale often stays the same to begin. It will drop when you stay consistent. That's why I actually just I think I just posted a reel on this about building lean muscle. We shouldn't focus on, okay, I'm strength training because I want to lose weight. Why else do you want to strength train? I mean, it creates an incredible physique, but you build lean tissue, you increase your energy. As we age, we lose muscle mass and bone density. Strength training counters that. Okay. There's so many beautiful, beautiful reasons to strength train. So you will make serious progress in strength and body composition. And then you're going to wonder, why didn't I do this sooner? If you are continuing with your current plan, that could be nothing, or it could be all cardio. It could be sometimes strength training. You could be training all the time, but you're going to likely end up feeling frustrated and confused and quitting if you're not consistent with a really clear plan. You may be tempted to spend a fortune on something that only gives a band-aid to the real problem, which I cover in step number 3 of this program. You lose belief in yourself that anything different is even possible, resulting in a fear of failure. And when we fear that we're going to fail, then our brain just shuts off. This is not you. There's nothing wrong with you. Your brain just says, no thanks, and you do nothing at all because it feels safe. Then here's where you're going to get stuck. You will try once again to do it all on your own because you know better, because you know what to do. Guess what, my friends? This is like the opening phrase of the PDF I give people when they begin to work with me. You know what to do, but you're just not doing it. We all have an idea of what to do. That's not why you're not doing it, okay? This cycle lands you right back to where you're at, and you feel defeated. You decide just maybe lifting a few days or here or there, or a few weights here or there, or maybe doing this or doing a little bit of that's good enough. But after no results, you quit, declaring that just doing the elliptical is what works. That's doing something. And you're right. It is better than nothing always. Doing too much too fast leads to burnout. So I also see people come to me and you're really fired up and you want to jump all in. Like, I'm going to do strength training 5 days per week. I'm going to do an hour a day. I'm going to do cardio for an hour 3 times a week. I'm going to cut out all the carbs and all the sugar and only eat protein and vegetables. And you're going to burn out pretty quickly. Here's how to solve for the training. My set training method is simple, effective, and time-saving. I teach my clients to begin with 10 to 30 minutes. This is all we do. It's a 30-minute, really highly effective training protocol, 3 to 5 days per week. This is all laid out in my Fit with Grace coaching program, but I wanted to give you solutions to write down or to game plan for this week for yourself. So start out really small. Basic compound strength movements like squats, deadlifts, bench press. These can all be done at home with beginner modifications, or you can advance. These can be found on YouTube. You can search what these exercises are. I give you videos, I give you PDF files, so you can basically print out your own manual and create your own book for yourself on how to get the results you want. But just to get you started, I want you to have that information today, that small habit shifts that seem almost too easy, they become the foundation for everything to come. This is a big deal, guys. 1% better every day, progress, not perfection. 1% better. I want you to think, moving forward, what can I do? So I'm going to take you through a couple of before and afters. This is my client, Mindy. So her before is actually on the right and her after is on the left. So the thing is, we worked together for 12 weeks. It wasn't until about 6 weeks that she began changing the narrative in her head about what's possible for her. As a healthy, fit woman, she still felt doomed by her body. She thought it was just always going to be the same because she was always doing and thinking the same thing for the majority of her adult life. She carried the same thoughts with her. So she wrote, this is her words, "It has been a worthwhile journey with you. I joined with the goal of getting toned and I got so much more. The life coaching was something that I was not prepared for, but so much more life enriching than I could have imagined. Once my thoughts were worked on, the health component worked in conjunction and results emerged. I did the 12-week program and I'm proud of my progress." She didn't put in here. She ended up losing, I think, 9 or 10 pounds. "I gained confidence in my ability to eat without guilt and reset the next day without punishment." This is huge. "You ask hard questions and make me truly think about my thoughts, circumstances, patterns, and hopes. You've been encouraging, hopeful, centering when I spiral and check in throughout the week, not asking when I fall, but where I win. So excited to see what else unfolds." Now, I'm not sharing these to like boast or brag here. I know how my brain works, and I like to hear from other people other than the person that has something to potentially sell you, which I will say I am neutral whether you ever join my program or not. I just want you to recognize what's possible for yourself and kind of put yourself in that future best self position. So to tie this up, guys, having a simple, effective time-saving training protocol is key to getting maximum results for any busy person. Step number 2, my flexible food strategy. So I break down three phases that shape habits, build knowledge, and grow trust within yourself to make a decision that serves you well in the moment. I could speak for an hour just on this topic, but I teach you how to make intentional choices. A healthy relationship with food is required for long-term success. You might read that and think, well, I have a good relationship with food. But if you fall into this all or nothing pattern of, oh, I'm eating good right now, I can't have that, or oh, I'm eating bad. And then guess what happened? When I'm eating bad, when I carried that thought, it just caused me to eat bad some more. It's like a weird psychological thing. It's like when we throw in the towel, we throw the towel all the way in, and we would just, I personally would overeat on the things that I knew weren't good, or maybe I didn't even want them, but that is not a healthy relationship with food. Focusing on the proper macronutrients versus just calorie counting allows flexibility, sustainability, and maximize results. This is a big deal. I teach you how to break down macros, what they are specifically, how to calculate them, and how to manage them and recognize how to plan your day. Even if you're not counting macros, I educate you on what that looks like so that you are equipped with the knowledge. I want you to eliminate the idea of good or bad food. This will create instant freedom and increase adherence. One day off does not ruin your progress, my friends. This is a big deal. It's impossible to create those sustainable long-term results with a perfectionistic all or nothing mentality regarding food. Does anybody relate to this? You can put in the chats. If this sounds familiar, I would love to hear that because you're not alone. Flexible eating allows you to create an individualized plan that works with a busy schedule. It gives you the ability to bob and weave day to day, making quick choices on the fly without ruining everything. You realize it's okay to have pizza or ice cream with the kids. I actually just did a live on this, and still see changes happening week to week. If you've worked with me, if you've experienced this, I would love for you to share in the chats on what your experience is. Like, it is a balance. There is a balance to it, but it's possible. And this mentality ripples into everything to create more peace with less anxiety about your experiences, about yourself, about food, about exercise, about what you can create. But if you continue with the all or nothing mentality around food, you just end up overwhelmed and discouraged, and you give up. This constant cycle of on or off a new plan wears you down, making it harder to believe in yourself the next time. You begin to create this belief that somehow you're the exception. And despite trying everything, you will always be stuck in the same spot, the same disappointing spot. Like, if it feels like an endless hamster wheel, you're not alone. Here's a plan. I want you to find what works with a flexible approach. It is critical when creating your plan. So macronutrients are key to consistent results. Set up, if you've never, so this is kind of the tools I want you to dial in. If you're taking notes, I want you to set up MyFitnessPal. This is really important. Okay. Download MyFitnessPal, step number 1. I think I can email you guys this PDF file. So I will do that. So you don't have to frantically write down every slide, but if there are things that you just want to do like right away, write down, download MyFitnessPal, Then I want you to adjust the weight, only putting in, I want to lose a half to 1 pound per week, depending on where you're at. Then you're going to go under nutrition and you're going to adjust the carbohydrates, fats, and protein. Carbohydrates around 40 to 45%, fat and protein between 25 and 30%. You want to lose 3 to 5 pounds. Simple awareness is your number one tool. And then setting up your macros is going to be key to getting that. And people see changes really quickly. The first week or two, if you've never done this, this is how you could potentially lose 3 to 5 pounds in the first week. Now, I will say, guys, if you only have 5 or 10 pounds to lose, losing 5 pounds this is not like a quick fix. Okay. My program is never a quick fix, but this will set you up for results pretty quickly. And you'd be surprised with the changes when you're consistent. So how does this work? Well, I give you my WTFP method it's just a brain hack, pausing the brain to make intentional versus impulsive choices. Intentional choices mean we pause and use the prefrontal cortex in the front of our brain instead of that amygdala, that like impulsive primal brain that's like, oh, I see the pizza, I had one bite, now I'm going to eat all the pizza. This was how my brain used to work. So what is my WTFP method? You can write this down if you want to. It's just a brain hack. So every time you're going to eat, I want you to pause for literally 10 seconds. Drink some water. Did I have any water? Have I drank water today? What time is it? Did I just eat? Am I actually hungry? This is a cue to tap into your hunger cues. Are you hungry? Or are you just bored? Or maybe you're buffering or avoiding from a different emotion or something else that's bothering you. Maybe you are just tired and you want to pick me up, but you're not actually hungry. So time is important. Are you choosing your food as fuel or fun? This is the F in my method. The difference, I want you to be able to fuel your body most of the time using that 80-20 rule. 80% of the time we fuel with the good stuff. But 20% of the time we can have pizza, wine, chocolate. You get to pick the fun stuff. Be strategic about it. And the last part, protein. Most often when you eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner for sure, and at least one snack, if you're eating a couple snacks, if one of them's like a granola bar, that's okay. There's no like hard and fast rules, guys, but you should be getting protein in most of the time. Awareness is just eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're satisfied, stopping before you're full. This is important. And then consistency. You want the magic pill? I'm going to wave my magic wand over you right now. And this is how you're going to get results. It's not a quick fix, but if you are creating awareness in your choices, and if you are consistent in small, doable steps, small, my friends, it adds up and it makes a difference. You are laying the foundation, you are laying the bricks of your healthy lifestyle, of the person that you are creating right now. So here's another success story. And I shared this on my social media. I want you to put in the chats if you have never seen this picture, and if you know the answer, then you can't participate. But I just love this before and after. This is my client, Kim, who completely transformed from mind to muscle. And when I say mind to muscle, I've worked with her for years on and off. And before I began working with people on thought work, on the mind management, on emotional regulation, on really understanding why you do the things you do, if we're not on top of it, if we don't have a really clear plan and we're not staying motivated, we default back into those old patterns. But she learned to release the all or nothing mentality. She made crazy body composition changes. And I want you to put in the chats, like, how much weight do you think she lost in between this picture? I'll wait for a second. If you've never seen this, I want you to tell me what you think in the picture, the difference between the two pictures. I would love to hear your guess. So she made huge changes, and this is over 1 year. It's a 1 year span with strength and a flexible food approach and the mind management. And this is just a little write-up from her. And I actually cut it down to like half of what she wrote. But during the past few years, my diet was spiraled, causing me to jump from one fad diet to the next, hoping for instant results, which ultimately ended in feelings of failure. I don't know if you can relate. In January 2020, I reached out to Tabitha again after success together in the past. I was ready to get results again. Her daily feedback has kept me going. She has taken me from a place of shame and guilt to a place of pride. I've begun to erase my black and white thinking. This makes it all worth it for me. I'm learning that it's okay to be imperfectly consistent, which is the name of the game. Like, all of us are imperfect. Tabitha, thank you for being by my side, helping me gain control and self-confidence through diet and exercise. I want you to know it's available to you as well, my friends. The only way to create a sustainable, lasting approach to diet and exercise that feels real life, that fits into your life, is to ditch that all or nothing mentality and to learn the tools of a flexible food strategy, which is pillar 2 in my Fit with Grace coaching program. We go into so much more detail there. All right, step number 3. This is the most powerful component that I want to teach you today. It is what gets me so fired up and what has changed the lives of my clients and changed my life. This is why I say between 2020 and now, I feel like I've lived 2 different lives. So my mind management system, it's not mine. The thought model that I'm going to teach you, it's been out there for years. There's a million coaching models. It's just the one that helped me the most and that I teach you in a really simplified way. It's what I use for my clients. So, oh, darn it. I double checked my errors. You guys probably already caught that. I am terrible with that thing. They way, it's not supposed to say, it's supposed to say the way. The way you think and feel about yourself and the process determines your level of success long-term. I'm going to read that again if you haven't already read it. The way you think and feel about yourself and the process that you're in is going to determine your success. Learning emotional management to recognize why you know what to do, but just don't seem to do it changes everything. Our emotional and mental health is a critical piece of the puzzle that separates those who are creating an identity in their health versus just starting a new diet. There's a difference, guys, and we're going to talk more about this in the next step. If you don't have a well-managed mind during stressful situations, staying on track is so much harder, and it inevitably ends in sabotage. And that can look different for everyone. It can just be quitting and being done. It could be making it worse and overeating or avoiding exercise altogether, or just, I don't know if you've noticed this, but oftentimes when our brain is in this habit loop of unhealthy rhythms, unhealthy habits that make us kind of feel bad about ourselves, but it's also this release. It's the way we cope with things that are going on in our life. It ripples into everything. So everything kind of gets worse. If you're eating crappy, you don't want to exercise. If you're eating crappy and you're not exercising, you don't have energy to do other things. Maybe you don't feel like you want to connect or engage with people outside of work, or you're not as motivated to go out and live life in a way that you want to show up for the people around you and for yourself, because you just feel yucky about yourself. Getting clear on your thoughts allows you to recognize the quickest way to become the person you desire. Pro tip, you guys can just decide. If you take nothing away from this training other than this point, I want you to write it down in a sticky note. I can decide who I am today. I can decide who I want to be and who I'm becoming. You can just decide. Your past does not define that. Pinpoint how to easily change thoughts, therefore habits that don't serve you. That's what getting clear on your thoughts allows you to do. Pinpoint easily how to change them. Identify the exact roadmap on how to create a new habit by evaluating what worked, what didn't work, and what is going to be different next time. This evaluation process is super simple, but it's what I teach my clients when you fail, when you mess up, when life kicks you in the pants and you fall down, because it's going to happen. I promise you, there's always setbacks. There's always life. When you can recognize that life is 50-50, 50% of the time it's the good stuff, 50% of the time it's the negative. 50% of the time we feel all the positive, good feelings and we're excited and motivated and happy. 50% of the time we don't feel so great and there's sad, uncomfortable, discouraging things that happen. When you just simply acknowledge that life is 50-50, it creates some space between what's happening, what might be negative, and who you are. So you accept that this is normal, this is part of the process, but you can choose to move away from the negative sooner. You can create the result that you want by not sitting in that and becoming swept up in that negative circumstance. We'll talk more on this. If you don't manage your mind by evaluating, so this process that I teach in my program, you're going to stay in a perpetual cycle of self-sabotage. Change is going to be painfully slow because it's like throwing a dart at a target blindfolded. It just, sometimes you're spot on, like, whoa, that was a really good day, or wow, I lost 2 pounds this week. And then like for 2 months, the next 2 months, you're gaining weight. I mean, we want consistency. You want to find yourself chasing the next, you will find yourself chasing the next best thing, diet, workout, program in order to feel better when the answer is already within you. Read that again, guys. If you don't manage your mind by evaluating, meaning we create awareness and ownership of what you do, you're going to find yourself chasing the next best thing, the next best diet, workout plan, program in order to feel better when the answer is already within you. Because as human beings, the only thing we're driven by is a feeling. This goes much deeper than I can give you on this call, on this webinar, but we're going to talk a little more on this. But I just want you to plant the seed in your head. What does motivate me? It's a feeling, guys. You don't want to lose weight because of the number on the scale. You want to lose weight because it creates a feeling inside you about what you're doing, about the number on the scale. You feel better. You feel good about yourself. It's a feeling. Managing your mind opens endless opportunities for growth and change moving forward. It creates a peace and freedom in all situations because you learn to take ownership of only you without expectations of others. This was the most freeing experience that I have learned. It has changed every relationship in my life, but particularly that with those I love most, my family, my kids, my husband. Managing your mind collapses time to get where you want to go quicker, minimizes resistance to future setbacks because we already have the ability to process negative emotion and then realign faster. So when you learn to manage your mind, you become aware of what negative emotions are coming up. Remember, life is 50-50. So we love the good stuff. We seek the positive. We want to feel good. We just want to feel good, right? But there's negative stuff that happens. There's negative emotion. So when we learn how to effectively process this and feel it, we realign faster, get to a place of neutrality, get to a neutral spot, then you can move forward. That is my job as a life coach. I teach people how to take where they're at, which is usually okay, like you're okay. But you know that there's more. You know you want to feel better. There's more you want to create for yourself. We move in that direction quicker and collapse that time. So how do you do this? It starts with awareness of how thoughts create results. Read that again. It starts with just the awareness. And you can use this tool forever now that you know. Awareness of how your thoughts create your results. This happens every time. Our thoughts create our feelings create our results. I'm gonna move into that next. But evaluating setbacks, this looks like what worked well, what didn't work well, and what will you do differently next time. You can evaluate every situation. If you leave a conversation and you're like, oh gosh, I don't feel so good. I don't know. I don't feel settled about that conversation. And I'm taking you outside of health and fitness right now because it's all tied together in a holistic health approach, which is what I teach you. But if you walk away from a conversation and you just don't love the way you feel, evaluate it. What went well? What worked? Maybe you engaged in conversation. Maybe you took the step and you knew there was something challenging that had to be discussed, and you made that step to have that conversation. But what didn't work? Well, maybe you didn't like something that they said and you had a defensive reaction. You reacted, right? That's human. You have a human brain. It happens. But what are you going to do differently next time? This is the work. When you understand why you do the things you do, you can get really clear on what you're going to do differently next time. And that's how you create a different result for yourself. Mind, body, spirit. So this CTFAR thought model, you can write this one down too. This is what I work with my clients every single week on, every coaching call. I might not write out this, but this is the steps I take them through. Circumstances are just outside of us. They are neutral. They could be proven in the court of law. It is just what it is. A circumstance is factual. It's like the number on the scale, the weather outside, even what somebody says, like in quotations, that's a circumstance. Here's a circumstance. It means nothing. It means nothing. Even something like a diagnosis, like a client of mine is, she's through breast cancer now, but even a diagnosis truly is just what it is. We don't have control over it. It triggers a thought though, right? And then we give it meaning with our thought. Our thoughts are what create feelings inside our body. Feelings are literally just vibrations through the body. It's a chemical release in our brain when we have a thought. This is important for you to recognize, and we get so much deeper in my signature program, but I wanted to, this training, this webinar is just going to be packed with so much good stuff for you to chew on and think about and use throughout the weeks, because it's really powerful. Your thoughts create your feelings. It releases a chemical. That's why sometimes if you are nervous or anxious, like before I got on this call, I was feeling nervous because I thought, oh my gosh, did they get the Zoom link? I'm afraid I messed up. The technology side, it's a story I tell myself. I'm not good at technology. I don't think they got the Zoom links. Nobody's going to come to this webinar. And then here you all are. And I'm so grateful for you. But my nerves, right? I had a thought. It released a chemical into my body. It created a feeling of nervousness. And my stomach was kind of like queasy a little bit. I don't know if you can relate, if this sounds familiar. I see the chats. I'm going to pause after in between these next steps, and I'll check the chats. But that feeling is controllable. The feeling is what moves us to action, and the action is what creates our results. So your thoughts always show up in our results in some capacity. In some capacity, it truly does. All right, I am going to walk you through a couple of examples of this. So you can use this. If you want to take a tangible tool, you could take this CTFAR model and just write it down, and you can just start writing out. This is creating awareness for yourself. You're modeling out your thoughts. You're writing out your thoughts. So the circumstance might be the number on the scale. How many of you have thoughts about that number on the scale? You can write it in the chats. Like, what are your thoughts about the number on the scale? Ooh, Katie, you raised your hand, girlfriend. You can jump in. Did you want to hop off your mic, or was that an accident? You can jump.
No, just raising my hand to say the scale's an issue.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. You do Zoom for work, don't you? I would never thought about that. I love the hand raising option. See, I'm learning. You're teaching me. Yeah, most of you are here because you have some thoughts about the number on the scale. And also feel free. You guys all at the bottom of your Zoom have a little hand raising option. You can raise your hand, or you can just unmute and just chime in and talk. I love open discussion. If you have a thought and you want to share it, please jump in. I am more than open to that. And I love the engagement. So you have the circumstance is the number on the scale. You have a thought about it. Like, I wish I actually broke this up so you couldn't see the reframe right away, because you've all read it, but I'm going to walk you through it. I'll never be able to lose weight. The feeling then creates unworthiness. I don't know about you, but when I feel unworthy, when I feel like I'm never going to be able to lose weight, I want to eat chocolate chip cookies. And then, you could plug in whatever your item is, but the result of that is you're carrying extra weight. You're going to continue gaining weight, or at least at a minimum, you're not going to lose the weight, because you're carrying the thought, I'll never be able to lose this weight. And the action step that you take based on the feeling of unworthiness is what gets your result. So let's reframe this. When I say reframe it, please know, this is important. Please know, this does not mean that you are like positive, like fake affirmations of just trying to think positive. It means, oops, I have somebody trying to join us. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay, I think I let them in. When I talk about reframing our thoughts, it is simply finding something else that's true and evident. We have 60,000 thoughts a day, my friends. 80% of them are negative, about 80%. That's just because the brain's being a brain. It scans for the problem. It is designed that way with purpose. God was so strategic in how he mapped our bodies to align, our brain and bodies to align. He gives us the tools to manage our mind. That is purposeful. So I don't want you to think or leave this training thinking I have to just be positive and think positive all the time. No, I want you to think thoughts that create results that you want. So if you're thinking the thought, I'm never going to be able to lose weight, this never works for me, how is that serving you? Instead, let's find a thought that's also true, like the second model here. The thought is, I just haven't figured this out yet. Okay, so put that in your brain. Put yourself in the shoes of this model. Like if you thought that, you might become more curious or more hopeful. The action steps that you take based on that is you're going to keep seeking solutions. You're going to keep trying when you feel curious or hopeful. The result is you will find what works for you and your body. There's a solution, guys, but we block problem solving when we say, I don't know, or we think it's impossible for ourselves. When we sit in a thought that creates these feelings of negative emotion, we usually sabotage any forward movement. Okay, before I go to the next one, I'm going to try to see if I can open up the chats. Oh, yes. You guys all put your weights in here. Hey, hi from Norway. I don't know who's here from Norway. Oh, was that Emily? Is that Emily? It just says iPad, so I can't see her name. Hi, Lainey. Oh, I'm so happy you guys are on here. This just fills my heart. I was so excited about this, and I love engaging with people here and just sharing what's possible. Oh, Rachel says, this is a good question. She says, do you need the premium subscription for FitnessPal? Absolutely not. I am all about saving money when you can. All about it. I'm going to give you guys an option to save money at the end of this if you decide you might want to consider working with me. But you do not use the free option. I've always just used the free one. Oh, Melissa already answered you. She's so smart. She's one of my clients. Jennifer says 5 pounds. They have 15 pounds. Like all the thoughts about these numbers on the scale. This is what we want to lose. Kendra says 10 pounds. Oh, you guys are guessing the weight. Ooh, you were guessing the weight of my client, Kim. Should we go back to that picture? So you guys are guessing. Jennifer says 5 pound difference between the pictures. Brandy says 15. Kendra says 10 pound. Rachel says 8 pound difference. Michelle and Katie both said a 20 pound difference between that photo. I'm going to go back to the photo and show you guys. The reason I'm reading these out loud is because the people who watch the recording aren't going to be able to see the chats, will not be able to. And Lainey says, I do not like the scale at all. I'm with you, sister. I used to feel the same way. Now I'm very neutral. Like I got back from camping just this last week and my weight was up 5 pounds. And I was like, I really had fun. Like I enjoyed camping. Every minute of it was worth it. And I was intentional in my choices. The weight's back down. Like I know it goes back down and it is back down. So our thoughts make a difference in the results that we create. Jennifer says, not always happy about the number. Makes me feel when I don't see it more. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when you don't have to see it. Oh, yes. Emily says, yes, it's me. Okay. I want to go back to this picture if I can real quickly. Let me see. Oh, sorry, guys. I might mess this up. Hold on. Do you guys see the chats up right now? Can you see that? Just out of curiosity? No? All right. So I guess it's only me that. Oh, all right. I apologize for the slow. I don't. Oh, there's somebody else trying to wait to get in too. Carrie. Sandy came in. Hi, Carrie. Katie, you raised your hand again. If you have a tip for me, you just pop on off, get on here and tell me, girlfriend. I don't know how to, let me do this. Sorry, I have to close it out. You guys get to see all the windows that are open. That's okay though. This is what I want to show you. Okay. This is the picture I want to show you. So you said 20 pound difference in this photo. Some of you said 5 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 pounds. This is a 1 year difference between my client, Kim, who we were really strategic on lifting and training heavy and appropriate for her. Okay. Really managing her food. She incorporated a lot more fun food. Before she was a lot more rigid. She carried the thought of, if I had 3 chocolate chips, I'm going to eat the whole bag of chocolate chips. That was an example she gave. This picture, take a look. It is only 1 pound in a year time frame. This is a 1 pound difference. I love this picture because it's so powerful to show what's possible. All right, now we're going to go back to where we were at. Okay. Hold on. All right. Going to the next one. I only gave 2 examples, but how many of you have thoughts about the laundry? I've got 8 kids. I've got a lot of thoughts about the laundry. So if you carry the thought, my life is so overwhelming, you feel overwhelmed, you feel exhausted. The action is, I just don't do anything. I don't want to do it. And then the result of that is the laundry piles up. So when you feel overwhelmed, your life gets overwhelming and the laundry continues to pile up. Your thoughts show up in your results. However, if we reframe that just slightly, how can I make this more fun or easier? Okay. If we just get resourceful, The feeling is I feel a little more curious, a little more strategic. Instead of feeling exhausted, I'm going to get curious. I'm going to get strategic about this. Your action steps then are you Google, you go to Facebook. I love Facebook. Probably many of you have answered one of my questions. If I have a question, I throw it out on Facebook because you guys are way smarter than me and have it all figured out. Everybody is able to problem solve and has their own experiences. So I just think that's super fun to ask what other people, ask on laundry. What do you do for laundry with big families? You ask, you Google. The result of that is you find a helpful solution for you. So when you get curious instead of critical, you learn to problem solve, which is a powerful thing. So if you keep choosing to do what you're doing, you're going to continue to build a case against yourself. You're never going to learn the key sets of processing negative emotion and regulating your nervous system. This is a big deal. Your brain will find evidence to prove your current thoughts right. For example, my life is overwhelming. This is a joke side note I'll share with my husband. I don't ever coach my friends or family if I see you in real life, like I am not, I wear the friend hat. I am the friend unless you invite me into that space of coaching, and it's a safe space, a safe container. But it's kind of a joke with my husband because he's always using like, oh, it's so overwhelming here. It's just overwhelming here. And then I think one time I tried to like walk him through how I used to think that too. And I still do. It is overwhelming, but I've learned to catch my brain, like catch on to my thoughts. And when I feel that way, it just causes some sabotaging results. So now the joke with my husband is like, oh, never mind. Just kidding. That's just a thought. It's just a thought that it's overwhelming. It's not overwhelming with 10 people running around. So it's kind of funny. He makes fun of me and I love it. It's okay. All right. This will leave you perpetually stuck in the same, I gotta go back to this. If you choose to keep doing what you're doing, this will leave you perpetually stuck in the same habit loop. The reality is you're likely not managing your emotions efficiently. And it's okay. I didn't know how to do this either. I don't know if you can see the bottom of my slide because your pictures or images are on here, but this is if you write anything down, write this down. Self-compassion and curiosity versus criticism and judgment. I want you to come to every situation with food, with diet, with exercise, within yourself or with other people, with compassion and curiosity. When we are compassionate and just get curious, we can problem solve and find solutions. When we are critical and judgmental, we stay stuck. Okay, this is lengthy. This is one of my current clients. She didn't want to share her full name, but she wrote this recently. She said, I feel like things are actually coming together. In 6 weeks, I've lost 11 pounds and 4 inches. And believe it or not, that's not even the most exciting part. I feel like I'm actually experiencing a mental shift. When I began the program, my goal was to lose weight, period. I thought you'd give me more motivation to drop a few pounds. I didn't quite think I was going to be transformed, and I see a transformation happening in my thinking. I began to stop and think about why I was having a craving and really process whether I really wanted to follow through with the craving. It's been crazy to witness this change in myself, and it makes me more thoughtful about other areas in my life. I've been planning ahead, slowing down to think before I eat, and trying to be intentional about my macros. And because of this shift, the mindset coaching videos are my absolute favorite part of the program when I thought only the workouts and the meal plans would help me. Everybody thinks that it's okay, but the mind management system will change your life. Another big change is the grace I've given myself each day. As silly as this sounds, not giving up on the weekends or not talking down to myself after only doing one workout in a week is such a huge win. Then when I experience a speed bump, I just dust myself off and keep moving instead of throwing out the towel for the day or the weekend. I feel like I'm better able to make intentional choices and feel good about them. I'm really excited. And I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to rewatch the modules over and over again, even after once I'm at my goal weight, because I feel like this process is teaching me how I will be able to keep it off step by step, but I'm loving it. Thank you so much for this. I'm loving it. So I wanted to share this. It was kind of long, but here's the thing. I want you to put yourself in this client's shoes. This does not mean that you're going to join my program and everything's magically going to be wonderful. You are a human with a human brain, old habits, thoughts, and patterns that are still there. But that's why the beauty of coming back each week and coaching through, kind of doing a brain dump of what's serving you and what's not serving you is what makes the difference in getting the results that you want. So this was very gracious of her. She wrote this without me even asking, but I put it in here because I thought this is super powerful to recognize what's possible. Mind management or intentional thought work is the secret to creating lasting changes through overcoming inevitable setbacks as we fail forward into the healthy lifestyle we desire. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have setbacks. Totally normal, totally okay. The ultimate form of intrinsic motivation for lasting change happens when a habit becomes part of your identity. Oh my gosh, I forgot a slide on here. Okay, I was like, what? So this is funny. That's okay. I'm just going to laugh about it, but I laid out all the steps and I must have accidentally deleted the slide. Oh, no, I didn't. How did I overstep it? Okay, so here we go. Scratch that. I'm trying again. Step number 4, identity is the key to habit change. So this step is huge. When you can learn to manage your mind using my step 3 that I just taught you, and you combined how to create good habits and kick the bad habits, you are like unstoppable. This is huge. We are all creatures of habit and routine all day long. Most adults run on autopilot and use habits against themselves. And I'm going to show you how. A slight shift in daily habits will create a completely different outcome. This was huge for me. Habits compound for you or against you. Read that again. Habits will compound. Habits compound. They either compound for you or against you. So stress and anxiety compounds, but so does healthy habits. It's like when you start to make healthier choices, you start to look for healthier choices. When you start to exercise a little bit, or you just go for a walk, you begin to look for other areas that you can improve. It all compounds. So the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation, that's like an internal. This means you look within yourself. Remember in the beginning of the webinar, I said, you are going to learn how to look within yourself instead of outside of yourself. This is the ultimate form of motivation forever. Intrinsic, for lasting change. It happens when your habits become part of your identity. This is huge. And I want you to really let this sink in. What you say and think matters. When you work out, you are an athlete. When you read, you're a reader. When you dance, you're a dancer. It doesn't have to be good. Who's the judge of good dancing? Who's the judge of what an athlete is? We have a lot of thoughts about that. How many of you do this? Like, oh, I'm not an athlete. I don't run marathons, or I'm not a runner. When you run, you're a runner. If you go for a run right now for 5 minutes, guess what? You're a runner. This is shaping your identity. Identifying as a healthy person makes it easier, just part of who you are instead of another thing to do. I want you to write this down if you take anything away. You are, just as I said in the beginning of the webinar, you are a healthy person already. How is that true? Like, think about that. Write that down for you in your own notes. Make a list, do a thought download, I call it, of how are you already the healthy person that you desire to be? Okay, it doesn't mean that we don't want to improve, but show me your thoughts and I will show you your results. I talked about this on my coaching call last night with my current clients. But it is no coincidence that everyone who shows up each week to the weekly coaching calls are getting amazing, phenomenal results. I don't know if Melissa's still on here. I'm calling you out, Melissa. I hope you don't mind, but she is on here now. She's did amazing. She's lost almost 15 pounds in 11 weeks. She's lost 20 inches, and she's showing up on a webinar that she knows all of this, but our brain needs the reminders. Our brain, it's really powerful to have that repetition. Also, the beauty of coaching, it's like we've got a lot of old habits, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of past. We all have a lot of past, and our brain looks to the past for evidence of what's going to happen in the future. I want to tell you with certainty to stop doing that, and you don't have to do that anymore. You could just decide, looking forward, I'm a healthy person and I'm going to walk in that identity now. What that looks like for you, you decide. It might be a 5-minute walk every day. That's it. You start and you build. When you don't believe in yourself, your identity can easily become linked to your bad habits. The brain scans for the problem, then finds evidence to prove it right. That's what I was just talking about. Your brain's going to kick out a thought like, I am so unhealthy. Okay. This is a random thought. I'm so unhealthy. Then your brain's going to look for evidence to prove that thought because that's its job. So when you choose to eat an Oreo off of your kid's plate, see, I said I wasn't going to have any more sugar. Here I am being unhealthy again. When you say you're going to work out and then you don't, you could reschedule it. You could find a new thought, but instead you're like, see, I said I was going to work out. Now I don't have time. I have a sick kid now. Everything is ruined. I'm just not a healthy person. Your brain scans for the problem and finds evidence to prove it. Without awareness, you become swept up in the tide of life. And this is where I find most people. That's why my clients are so exceptional. That's why we are creating a community fit with grace to create the results that you desire in your life. We become aware that you don't have to get swept up in the tide of life, no matter the circumstances around you. When you do this, when you don't believe in yourself, everything else just seems hard. You're perpetually stuck in a poor habit loop. Does this sound familiar? These are all my personal go-tos. I'm terrible with directions. I'm not a morning person. I'm bad at remembering people's names. I'm always late. I'm not good with technology. I've joked about that several times on this already because I was so intimidated. I avoided what I do now for years because of that last line. I'm not good at technology. I can't do it. I don't know how. And then my brain looks for evidence to prove it. I've got a big family. I've got 10 kids. I'm so busy, even though I'm passionate and I'm excited and I have so much knowledge and experience to share with you. And I want you to create what's possible for yourself. I held myself back. Therefore, I held you back because you don't get this information if I'm not willing to step out into what's scary. So has anybody, I don't know, you can let me know in the chats. Does this resonate with anybody? Do you ever say I'm terrible with directions? I'm not a morning person. I became a morning person because I decided, and I still like sleeping in every chance I get. I'm bad at remembering people's names. You're always going to be bad at remembering people's names. So new identities require new thoughts and decisions. The brain will look for evidence to prove your thought. We don't have enough time today. I have multiple coaching videos and modules on habit change in my program, but I want to break it down so you can utilize it today on the basics. Okay. There's 4 steps of habit change. Side note, if you have not read the book Atomic Habits, I highly recommend it. James Clear breaks this down so beautifully. And I love the approach that he gives, and I use it a lot with my clients. But there's 4 parts. There's a cue in every habit we do. Think about when you wake up in the morning, there's a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. So the example that I give is you wake up and you're kind of groggy. You desire a feeling, a solution. You desire to feel alert. So you drink coffee and then you feel relief and then you are satisfied. That's your reward. You feel relief and satisfied from drinking the coffee. Once you believe in an aspect, so this part, this cue, craving, response, and reward, this is the breakdown, the framework of habit change, good or bad. Once you believe in an aspect of your identity, you are more likely to align with that belief and create new beliefs that are also true about yourself. Do you want to change your behavior? I'm going to give you an example. The goal is to eat more whole foods. So we just have to simply ask, there's 4 steps to this behavior change. Make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. So to make it obvious, put fresh fruits and veggies on hand, visibly in the refrigerator. Buy the pre-cut up ones. If cutting it up and chopping it, if you're getting a lot of resistance and you procrastinate because you don't want to cut them up, my goodness, pay the extra $1 to have the fresh stuff on hand. Is it worth it in the scheme of creating a healthy lifestyle for yourself? Yes. And then once you build momentum, you'll be more likely to take the steps of cutting stuff up and having it available. But in the beginning, sometimes you just have to collapse that procrastination. You have to collapse the hard stuff and just make it really obvious. How can you make it attractive? Buy your favorites. Use dips. This is a tip for kids. If you have kids, I have a picky eater. My kids don't eat vegetables. They will. And I have a lot of strategy around that, but you want to tap into when they're hungry. So I call it like appetizers, and then give them a bunch of dips to try. Give it to them multiple times, like week after week, day after day. You eat it, they eat it. They'll become, I have 8 kids. 4 of them we adopted. 2 came from the hospital. So it's not fair to say they had different habits and lifestyles prior to that, but 2 of them had really wild habits with food and aversions and things that they liked and didn't like. They have been in my home now. My daughter, Camberlin's been here for 4 years. I mean, bottom line is we all eat the same. We love the treat stuff, but we also love the fresh, good stuff, and they love it. So how can I make it easy? You buy pre-cut options. How can I make it satisfying? Track macros and see that you're hitting goals and losing weight. If you don't want to track macros, you could also get a calendar. This is like a bonus tip. It's not in my slides. So if you want to write it down, get a calendar from the dollar store. I just coached a client yesterday morning on this. We can just use the dollar store calendar to begin habit tracking, because we have to ground in our senses: sight, taste, touch, smell, hearing. You want to ground in your senses to become present in the habits you're creating. And visualization is the strongest sense that will develop the habit that you're desiring. So if you get a calendar and you mark off, the days that you want to work out, for example, then you write it on there: Monday, Wednesday, Friday on your calendar visibly. And then every time you do it, you make a big X, like you cross it out. And then visually you see all those crosses. Every time you look at that, and I would set up every morning looking at it at the same time. You have your cup of coffee, you check your workout schedule, or we set this up with the client on her food schedule. We created a meal plan for her family, and we laid out her schedule and when she was going to do her order pickup and when she was going to do takeout when nights were too busy. But then you can look at the calendar and she can cross out when she was successful. Then she's reaffirming to her brain on what's possible of creating a new habit and routine. So it makes it satisfying. This is a big deal. Progress or growth requires unlearning behaviors and then continuously editing your beliefs to upgrade and expand your identity. It is within you right now, guys. Okay, step number 5, investing in a coach or a mentor. And this can look a lot of different ways. It does not have to be with me. I want to say that there's a lot of different ways that you can invest in a coach or a mentor. But why is this important? It takes the guesswork out of what you do, and it aligns strategy with accountability. It sparks new ideas and excitement in what's possible. It allows space for you to empty your brain. Oh, I can't see hold on. Allow space for you to empty your brain, then refill it with more useful thoughts. I couldn't read it with you guys on the bottom of the slide. And that's the beauty of coaching. So I want you to recognize no successful person, an athlete, a writers have editors, right? Even the best writers still have editors. Business owners, they still have mentors. They have people that help them, that come in and strategize what to do and what areas that they're weak in. For weight loss clients, no successful person got there alone. They just didn't. Even if you lost weight on your own in the past, I bet that there was someone in your life or something in your life that kept you motivated and on point. Investing in a mentor or coach allows you to talk through fears and struggles, to celebrate wins, to keep you accountable, to be the lighthouse that illuminates your path to success, to give you a roadmap to proven results. That is what a coach does. A coach lays out the roadmap. Finding a great coach can change things pretty quick. And I don't know, I mean, I think I had a few people that are my current clients, but I think it's only Melissa that's on here. But I mean, she could share possibly on what her experience is, but it changes things quickly when you have somebody that helps you navigate your path, offers guidance and strategies, and keeps you accountable. A great coach will then also create the belief in what is possible right now. A couple of my coaches are Adam Atkinson. He's my fitness coach. I've been working with him on and off for years. And Nicole Spencer, Stacy Bayman. I have Hector Gonzalez. I have several coaches that I work with that help me grow in the areas that I need help with. But I want you to look at that second point, that second bullet. A great coach will then also create the belief in what is possible now. Whether we work together outside of this space right now on my webinar or not, in this very moment, I'm your coach, okay? And I am telling you that you have what it takes to create the results that you want. You get to just decide and then believe in what's possible right now for yourself. Your beliefs that you have about yourself are just practice thoughts. That's how we create our belief system, Okay. Think about childhood. We didn't know what to believe. We were told by adults or other people. And then we just took on those thoughts. Now, our belief system is just practice thoughts that we think repetitively over and over again. So here is my question to you. What thoughts are you repeating in your mind over and over again? Good or bad? What thoughts, what stories are you telling yourself? What sentences in your brain are on repeat? And what's the result of that? I just want you to sit with that for a minute. Like, what are you telling yourself? Is it true? I'm going to tell you it might not be, because only our circumstances are true. The number on the scale, that's true. What story are you telling yourself about the number on the scale? Have you gained 100 pounds in the last year and a half? I have somebody that I've been working with that gained a very large amount of weight in a very short time. And she carried so much shame around that. I want to tell you that we all have a story, but it doesn't mean that that has to continue. You get to be the author of your own story. I always say, like we're trying to steal the pen away from God. Like God writes our story, but we're trying to like steal that pen away and write our own story by all of these thoughts that we carry about ourselves. We could also just choose different thoughts and align that with truth. And to have somebody help navigate that for you is priceless. So you could just decide to solve the problem on your own, but also you might spend needless time guessing about how to get the results. You could share in the chats, how many people have been trying to get results and for how long? Like, what have you been doing? What does that look like for you? You'll potentially lose money by spending on things that you don't need or that don't get your results. And here's a good example. I have a client that I'm working with. I mean, she has bought everything that her friends are doing, every shake and pill and program, because other people were getting results and she just so deeply wanted those results. What she failed to recognize is that none of the stuff outside of her, which is a circumstance, is going to change what's happening inside until she decides this needs to change and I have the power within me with managing my thoughts. Does this make sense? Does this resonate for you guys? Let me know. And Sandy, are you raising your hand or was that an accidental bump? Feel free to, if you have something to share or something you want to say, always feel free just to unmute and jump on with us. Or I'll just continue because I know sometimes you accidentally bump things, which I've done several times. Okay, so if you decide to do this on your own, you could do amazing, by the way. I don't want you to think you can't do it on your own. You could do amazing. But where are you at right now? Like, have you already been trying? So you may feel more fear or uncertainty and doubt about what will hold you back. You may even end up giving up on your goals altogether or your dreams completely. You'll lose belief that achieving a healthier, stronger mind and body is possible for you. Because when we feel defeated, when we feel kicked down time and time again, it just is easier to avoid it, to just say it's not possible. And then our brain looks for evidence to prove that. I want to tell you it is possible. Gosh, this is a lot. So this is part of my story. I'll scan through it. So my part of my story, bullying propelled me into awareness of my body around the age of 12. Since then, I've been on my own journey of becoming my best self with so many setbacks. At the age of 21, I fell in love with bodybuilding, but found that the restriction of that plan created a super unhealthy relationship with food. Mind you, my own story is how the hurt that I went through and healed through is how I help you now. Like, and this is how it just radiates through me, because I think that's how you also could help other people. And I think that's how we're created in whatever story that you have. When we heal from something, we then can extend that and help change the lives of other people. So for me, binge eating led me on a roller coaster of fluctuating weight until my very first pregnancy at 26 years old. I'm 40 now, just to give you a reference or frame of mind. I remember being so amazed at this baby that was growing. The miracle inside my body sparked instant appreciation for this vessel that I was gifted, and it changed everything for me, truly. It was like a light bulb, because my thoughts about my body changed. I was so appreciative. I didn't know this in the time that this happened, but I remember sharing this in my macro ebook. If you have that, if you don't have it and you want it, put it in the chats. I'll email it to you. It's pretty lengthy, but I include my story in there as well. But I remember at the time thinking, wow, I don't know what happened, except I was so appreciative of my body and that it grew this little miracle inside of me. It changed everything because my thoughts about my body completely changed. Do you see how this all ties in now? What did I put? Oh, good thing because it became it. So recognizing this with my body made gaining and losing 50 pounds with each of my 4 kids more tolerable. It wasn't until my youngest in 2014 that I discovered the freedom of tracking macros versus calories. It was a total game changer in getting consistent results without restriction. I stepped back into the bodybuilding world with great success, launched my online coaching business, and became foster parents. Through many ups and downs, I felt confident though, physically, and I had a healthy mindset. And then life hits us, right? COVID hit. And we all go through seasons of life. So I just want you to recognize, and I hope that my story resonates a little bit to know we don't all have it figured out and none of us are perfect. But midway into 2020, I knew that I needed to hit the reset button. We would have afternoon margaritas while in quarantine. All 8 kids were home. We baked daily for 19 days in a row. I think we made monkey bread like 4 times in 1 week at once. That's usually like a holiday thing, like Christmas, New Year's. My husband and I were all about connection, and we would often do late night date nights, which meant we were excited about the next takeout run. Like, where are we going to order food? It was a disaster, mind, body, and spirit. I didn't feel like myself. I was struggling mentally and emotionally. I knew that there had to be a better way. So my first step was to go to what I knew. I hired my fitness coach back, Adam. I had worked with him in the past. So I actually was working with him in 2019 into 2020. And then I quit working with him because I was like, I just can't go to the gym. I'm just going to stay home. I was basically setting the expectation that I'm going to gain weight. So I stopped paying him. So about 6 months later, I hired him back. We began to develop a new routine at home that allowed results without the gym. I know how to create those results. I needed the accountability. That structure was huge. So I knew I needed more on the mindset end. I was making momentum, but I stumbled into life coaching and it changed my life. It deeply changed my thoughts, which were a direct reflection of the results I was getting. And it made such sense. This was the most profound personal work that I have ever done. And it laid the foundation for my life and health coaching practice, which launched in January of 2022. And I knew at the end of 2021 that you all needed this information. Like, this was the missing piece to my clients who would get amazing results with my 8 and my 4-week program. And then they would fall off and they would lose 10 pounds, gain it, lose, gain, lose. It was like this vicious cycle. We're stopping that. So this, I don't know if you've seen this picture, but it's every time I see it, even I just feel so proud. And I want you to know it's okay to see a picture of yourself and feel proud. And if you look at a picture and you don't like it, I want you to, that thought doesn't serve you first off, which is why look at my face. I take the gross pictures because I know that I will be proud later. And I just want you to recognize this was over 2 years. I rebuilt myself, mind, body, and spirit. I lost 10 pounds per year. So from 2020 to 2021, I lost 10 pounds. And then the end of 2021, I lost another 10 pounds. It was slow and steady, plenty of real life. And I just want you to consider, like, what is working for you? What are you doing currently? And if it's not working, it may be time to consider a new approach for yourself. We are designed to be in community, to realize what's possible within us. When together with support and accountability, with strategy, results are going to happen. They're going to happen. It's not even a question. So today I promise to show you exactly how to train in a realistic, sustainable way, how to fuel your body without cutting out things you love, and to manage your mind in order to get lasting results. What you need to succeed is my 5-step process to long-term success. Number 1 is my set training method. Number 2, my flexible food approach. I didn't go into great depth, but I gave you the tools of downloading MyFitnessPal, and you get to pick and choose what foods you fit in there. But I want you to keep your protein. Be mindful of your protein. Keep working to increase that protein. But in my signature program, my flexible food strategy is actually broken into 3 phases. The phase 1 and phase 3 don't involve tracking macros or counting calories at all. The middle, phase 2, I teach you all of that, but I also want you to trust yourself. We practice intuitive eating by the end. I give you the system for that, but I want you to have that that knowledge and understanding that it's not MyFitnessPal, it's not foods, it's not a shake, it's not anything outside of you that gets you the results. There is some strategy behind the accountability, but you have the ability to make intentional choices yourself. And this ties into step number 3, the mind management system. Step number 4 was habit change through identity change. And step number 5 is considering hiring a coach. If you implement these steps, you will stop thinking so much about your body, food, or how to feel better. You're just going to create it. You have the time and energy you've always wanted to spend with your family. You have confidence to enjoy the quality of life that you and your family deserve together without feeling defeated. I don't know if you can relate, but for me, I remember in 2020, like feeling so much guilt and shame because I wanted to spend this quality time with my family. I wanted to enjoy it, but it was a combination of a lot of together time with no outlet of how I would manage my own stress in the past. But also I was feeling really crappy about myself because I was not treating my body very well. So now you get to choose. Keep doing what you're doing and hope for a different result, or you can decide to take a bold risk and invest in yourself to change the story long term. This is what my client Kim did after falling back into old patterns and reached back out to me. She finally worked on the root. She worked on the thoughts that sabotaged her long-term success. My client, oh, I didn't even put my story about Erica in here. I think I took it out because this is already getting lengthy, but she was amazing. And I have a video, you might have received it. I've sent it to some of you, where she talks through. Erica actually, she lost 14 pounds over the 12-week course, but she was eating a ton more calories than she started with. But what was most powerful with Erica's story, I thought it was so cool. She really struggled with anxiety, social anxiety, and she worked with a therapist and got some good tools. She said the way she worded it was she got a lot of really good tools to manage her anxiety, but her words were coaching was 1,000 times better and worth every penny because it actually gave her a system to work through how to manage her anxiety, but how to change her thoughts so that she didn't have that heightened anxiety in the first place. So it was super powerful. Mindy, I shared with you, she just didn't realize that she had these self-destructive thoughts, and that was the barrier to getting any real momentum. And it changed everything for her. She's always been fit and active, but she didn't recognize how sabotaging her thoughts were. So I can support you in several different ways. First off, I want to just say thank you for being on this webinar, and I'm supporting you in this way. It will open up for questions after this, but I highly encourage you to book with me. You can book a 30 to 60 minute consultation to deep dive into where you're at, where you want to go, and how I might be able to help you. You can join my free Fit with Tab Facebook group. This is different than the Fit with Grace coaching program, and I will email out the link so that if you're not in it, you can get into it. And then decide from your future best self, where do you want to be in 3 months, in 3 weeks, even in a year? This program, anything beyond this webinar, is not for you if you're looking for a quick fix. It's not open. If you're not open to change or personal growth, it wouldn't be a great fit. If you're not willing to get curious about why you do the things you do, this isn't for you if you're not really ready to begin to make those small shifts. We have to be willing to step outside of ourselves. And I say this in love, but if you're full of excuses and you're not willing to look inside of yourself, and instead of wanting somebody else to do it for you, we have to be able to take ownership in order to move forward. Like, where are you holding yourself back? And if you're not ready to even look at that, that's okay. But this is the work that we do to really lay out on the table what needs to happen to create a new identity and the healthy person you're creating. The reason I am doing this is because I fully know what's possible for you now. I see your true potential, especially when you don't. I mean, that's what I get most excited about. I know it's possible for each and every one of you, but most of you just don't. You don't know. I want you to experience a freedom in loving your body right now, exactly where you're at. I didn't mention this in the webinar, but I do often. If you don't know this, I'm going to tell you something now, that you are valuable, you are whole, you are complete in exactly who you're supposed to be today. You don't need to lose a single pound. Now, we create results that make us feel better about ourselves, but I just want you to recognize that loving where you're at now is possible through your thoughts That doesn't mean that you can't have goals. That doesn't mean that you can't lose weight. Okay. There's a difference, but the thoughts you carry about yourself is huge. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to feel confident in setting personal goals. And you can feel confident in setting personal goals and feeling good where you're at currently. I want you to stop doing all of the latest fads, and I want you to stick with a sustainable approach that works. I want to help you create the greatest impact for yourself and then watch it radiate into everyone else around you, because it does. This impacts everyone. I want you to stop feeling hopeless and know that change can happen now. And if you allow me to support you, I'm going to walk you through this, guys, exactly what I've been able to create for myself and for others. And this success is week by week. You'll experience massive personal growth. You'll achieve tangible results in just your first few weeks, because it is like I don't want to say an overload of information, but you are going to be equipped and have so much knowledge and tools to make changes. And then we work to create a strategy that is simple for you. You'll be held accountable in doing the work that creates the results, and you'll receive full support and feedback so that I don't know what to put here. So that you're not trying to figure it out alone, but instead you just get results. And that's a big deal. Like, doing things alone is hard. So I am inviting all of you to join my Fit with Grace coaching program. As I said before, you can book a consultation call with me, and there's no obligation, guys. This is really just an honest evaluation of what you desire. So I highly encourage you, without an obligation to work with me, but just from a neutral place of understanding what's happening in your brain and holding you back. I want to offer my time to you to help walk you through that. And if you want to book a phone call with me, then just put it in the chats, send me a message, reach out, and we will get you on the schedule in the next week to have that conversation. Strength, this is a quote that I love. Strength and growth comes only through continuous effort and struggle. What this also could mean is that when something scares you, when something is hard and challenging, it's usually the time to press into that, because that's what's really going to propel us to personal growth to begin with. I'm just checking the chats here to see if we have anything. Oh, there's a lot of direct messages.
I have 1% left.
Oh, Allie says she loves dancing. I love to. Jennifer, I'm with you. Laundry is, I have a lot of thoughts about laundry. Emily said the song Never Ending Story comes into mind every time I do laundry. Yes, it is a never ending story always. Amy says, yep, all the time. Emily said, yep, this all resonates. Danielle says, not a morning person. I'm not a morning person either, but you can become one if you desire, like if you want to. Oh, Emily said she loves the book Atomic Habits. It's so good. I've read it several times. Somebody, I don't know if it's Allie, if your mic, you want to mute your mic, or there's some sort of.
Yeah, I have one.
Whoopsies. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. You can unmute it. Did you have something you wanted to share, Allie?
Yeah, I have a 1% right now.
You wrote down 1%?
No, it's 1%. It's going dead.
Oh, your screen is about to die. Okay, no worries. We are all done, Allie. So if it dies, that's okay. All right. Brandy said, thank you so much. You're doing wonderful. Love being the cheerleader, having you on this journey. Thank you. Okay, Lainey said it's been a long time with not much results. And yeah, you know what? That's everybody. That happens often, where we don't know what we don't know. We don't know how to get out of that cycle. And that's what I teach people. Katie had said, I've been edgy and anxious since navigating March 2020 as a full-time school administrator and mom of 2 under 5. Yeah, Katie, that's a lot. And I remember our phone call, we had talked about this. Like, when you are you're navigating COVID, you're a school administrator, that's a whole nother level during COVID. And then you have 2 toddlers that you're trying to parent and educate in school while you're working from home. Like, there's lots going on there, and a lot of reasons why it could be challenging. So I want to offer first off, thank you so much for joining this webinar. I want to offer, I said I would have a special offer for people who are live on this, and I want to extend it to you. If you are curious, if you want to just understand even what the cost of the program is, but what it might look like for you, that's a big deal, then put in the comments or send me a direct message on Facebook or email me and let me know, and let's set up a time to talk. I am giving everyone 20% off on the program if you decide to join us. Now, I am going to relaunch, so you can join my program at any time. I had somebody that just joined last week. You can join at any time, but I also I have launches that I will begin. So everybody kind of begins the program at one point that join at that time. So I have a new launch that is going to begin on July 18th. And I want you to know whatever you have going on in your life is exactly what you should have going on. You should have it happening. And this is not the time to want to wait or push off starting something new because of summer schedule. This is exactly why we should press into it, because life happens. Like there's always going to be a holiday. There's always going to be a party. There's always going to be a summer vacation. There's really never going to be the right time. And I don't know. I mean, I would love does anybody want to pop on or have questions or want to share with that? Because the timing of when we do hard things is typically never. Like our brain is always going to give us resistance to doing something hard or scary. There will never be the right time. So that quote that I ended with kind of sums up, like, that's kind of how we grow. Pressing into the hard stuff is how we grow. Does anybody have anything that they want to share or any questions after the webinar? No? Awesome. Well, I am so super grateful that you guys joined me. I hope you got so much out of this. I didn't even highlight the tools that I gave you. I want you to use this for 4th of July weekend. So this is how you're going to do this. You're going to go into 4th of July weekend. How many people have like lots of fun food events with good food and good drinks? I want you just to simply have awareness of your circumstances, have awareness of what you want to create for yourself, and then decide what that's going to look like. And so I give my clients three choices. There's 3 options, and this helps your brain to break down and creating the results that you want to create. So you could go into the weekend or the festivities and think, you know what? I want to stay on track. So I'm going to set up my FitnessPal. I'm going to set up my calories, and I'm going to learn to track my macros, and I'm just going to fit the fun food into my calorie range. And that is going to keep you moving forward and progressing and getting results now. Oh, good, Emily. I'm so happy that this was helpful and that resonated for you. Jennifer said that she's going camping for a week, so she really needs this. Yeah, I am with you. Oh, Katie, thank you. I'm so happy. I'm transferring all of my energy to you, and you harness that and take it into this weekend. So what you're going to do is decide, do I want to set up boundaries? Do I want to just make a game plan and stick within my macros if you use my FitnessPal? And you can powerfully decide that and go into the weekend, have an amazing weekend, still enjoy a couple drinks, still have a dessert, and stay within your allotted calorie range. You could do that. Okay. That's one choice. That's option 1. Option 2 is you decide to just maintain what you want to create, maintain what you're currently doing. Now, maybe you even set up a plan. Okay. You set up your macros, you decide I'm going to track, but here's a tip I will give you in creating some boundaries over the holidays while still enjoying. I kind of want to fall into this category going into this holiday. I want to maintain. So in order to do that, I might track the beginning of the day, and then I give myself free range to eat whatever I desire in the evening, but you need to tap into your hunger cues and make an intentional choice. So use my WTFP method. Have I been drinking water? What time is it? Do I want this? Is this a fuel or a fun food? And have I had protein today? Front load your protein. Get your fruits and vegetables going into the day for 4th of July or whatever day you have an event. Front load your good stuff, and then go into the evening with awareness. And a desire to just experience everything as a whole. So we're going to enjoy the food, but we're not going to make it all about the food. Does that make sense? There's a difference. We're going to enjoy the food, but we're not going to make it the food focus. We're going to enjoy and experience everyone around us. I want you to focus on connecting with those that you love, creating an experience that includes good food, but we don't make it all about the food. And in order to do that, you have to tap into your hunger cues. And do I want to eat this? Yeah, I do. It's delicious. Or use my 2-bite rule. I'm throwing out a bunch of tips, but use my 2-bite rule, which is essentially I cut off 2 bites. My Aunt Joanne and Uncle Matt's house, we go there for 4th of July. I'm like the queen of taking pieces because I try 2 bites of everything. And if I love it, I'll go back for more. Usually I don't need to because I sample everything. I'm full, but you could just try a little bit. And if it's delicious, go back for more. You don't have to take a full serving of a piece of cake and a full serving of, you want to try all the desserts, but have a full serving of everything. Instead, just small bites. Start small. So this is how you create momentum and success, even with a holiday weekend, even with the social events, even with family gatherings, even with pizza night. Okay, you front load your fruit and veggies and your protein. Use my WTFP method. You could decide to track or decide to maintain. If you decide to maintain, it still gives you flexibility to not have to track and to just be really mindful. Or your third option, okay? This is getting so lengthy, and I just love that you guys stayed on with me. This is a lot, but I just want you to leave here feeling so equipped and packed with value to create success for yourself over the weekend. And then I want you to come back and tell me about it, okay? Get into my Fit with Tab group, my free group, and I want you to share. I'll make a post and I want to hear about these wins. I want to hear about these successes for you. But the last option is you could just, so Jennifer, you said you're going camping. You could just decide, I am going to go camping and I never get to have these fun foods. And I'm okay with gaining a couple pounds. And you could just decide that that's okay, because it is. You decide it's okay because you know and you feel confident that you have the skills to get the weight off after. That is where I was at my last camping trip. And I got on the scale the day after and it was up 5 pounds. And I was like, I in the past might have just, years ago, really let my day become, the number on the scale would dictate my day. Does that make sense? Like if it went up, it was a problem. If it went down, life is good. I'm in a great mood. That is exhausting. It went up 5 pounds and I literally was like, I had so much fun camping. That was worth every bite. And then my weight's back down. It's down. Less than a week. The 5 pounds are gone. We just get back into our rhythm, into our routine, stick with the strategies that I teach you. And it's not a big deal. We make it a big deal in our head every single time. Our thoughts create our results. And I want you to really take that away from this training. I'm just going to check in. Danielle said, thanks for doing this. Can't wait to rewatch and chew on the content, take the next step in a more healthy lifestyle, and truly appreciate all of you share. Oh, no worries. I know the direct message thing is confusing. I end up doing that instead of sending it to everyone. You end up like replying back to the person who commented last. I'm so grateful that you were here, Danielle, and everybody, and that this was valuable and helpful, and that you can utilize this because there's a lot of really great information. I loaded you up with everything, but wanted you to just have an overview of what I do in my signature program. Here's the thing. You're going to take away from this webinar and feel encouraged and uplifted and feel equipped to kick some butt over the 4th of July weekend, and you're going to. But also, this is not enough to change the way you think. This is not enough to develop lasting changes, to create a new identity in who you are, because you took a lot of time to practice all of those old patterns and habits and beliefs in the past. And it's going to take some time to rewire those, to reframe those thoughts. And that is what I do. That's where I come in. That is the beauty of coaching. And in my program, you get weekly modules on all of these things. You get access to the modules forever. So it's something that is available that you can watch at any point and rewatch again to remind you of what's possible and to remind you of how to take your brain when it goes back into the old habit loop, into the old thought patterns, because it will. You can come back to a module on creating success for vacation, or how to overcome emotional eating or buffering or not processing negative emotion, you can come back to those videos and really let it sink in, because it takes a lot of repetition for our brain to change the new neuron path that we create. But it's happening. What you're doing right now is happening. And if some of you are taking notes, you are when you hear something new, hear new information, it lights up neurons in your brain and they kind of like you create a new pathway, like, oh, this is possible. This could happen. And then if you write it down, it like deepens that groove. And if you practice the behavior, it deepens the groove more. And the more that you choose to practice that behavior, the easier it gets, right? The more that we practice it, the more your brain will go to that natural pathway instead of your old pattern loop. That old pattern loop will always be there, but you can then, with awareness and intentionality, just like gently change the channel. That's what I call it, like gently change the channel. This is a skill set that I have developed when I have thoughts, and I have lots of them, but I recognize much easier now on what thoughts serve me and what ones don't, so that we can create the results that we want. Okay, I have went way over on my time. I appreciate you guys so much. Let me know if you have any questions. I will reach out and follow up. I will send this replay out to everyone, and we'll be in touch. Okay. Have a beautiful 4th of July. All right. We'll see you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.